Hello friends, in today's video we're going to be discussing the latest developer survey that Stack Overflow have done. We're going to be discussing different items and we're going to be comparing it to the year 2023 to see how the market have differed since last year to this year. So let's get started. So what I have here is I have the latest developer survey opened here for the year 2024, as well I have the 2023 developer survey also open, so we can just do a quick comparison between the two. So we're gonna start by a few different items which is gonna be guiding this comparison. So in the year 2024 we can see we have 65,437 developers who done the survey. On the other hand, in the year 2023 we had roughly around 89,194, so that's a significant amount of less developers who have done this. So whatever result is gonna be taken with a pinch of salt just to have that round number in place. So the first item that we're going to be taking a look at is the developer profiles. And if we zoom a bit here, so within the developer profiles, if we want to compare it from last year to this year, although it's not going to be a direct 100% comparison, we can see here that the developer profile last year was mainly from BA and this year is still from BA. But the main item that I can see different, that the primary and elementary school have went down this year, and this could be due to the people not have taken the survey, or maybe because they are less interested in this, specifically after the latest boom of AI. So here we can see different information regarding learning how to code, the technology, where they got the information, which is all good. The other item is the years of experience. So here, as we can see, within the years of experience, we can see that the main developer market is going to be relying within actually three main factors. So 1 to 4 years, 5 to 9 years, and 10 to 14 years. These are going to be the main market item in the year 2024. If we go back to the year 2023 and we scroll down, we can see here that it's also the same thing, but something to keep in mind here. If we take a look at the year 1 to 4 here, we can see it's a 14.7%, while here is 13.6%. And the 5 to 9, we can see now it's right here for 26, and here we can see it's 27. So one thing that this might tell me, we can see that a lot of developers might have graduated from the first tier to the second tier, as well from the second tier to the third tier. Also, there has been some graduation. But the number which is, or the view which is really clear here for me is that the more the developer age gets bigger, or the number of years of experience get bigger, the less developers are interested in actually doing coding, because people can go into different careers or basically go into different fields like management, whatever it is, and actually less focus on the coding itself, which is a shame because all of these years of experience are going to go to waste, but it will open the door for the new generation to come into place. The other item is years of coding professionally. So we can see here again for the professional number, the main three items are basically still taking the main percentages, which is 1 to 4 year, 5 to 9, and 10 to 14. But this year as well, we can see here that the 1 to 4 has outpaced the 5 to 9, and the 10 to 14 has also increased. So as we can see here that the 1 to 4 in the year 2024 has outpaced the 5 to 9 and the 10 to 14. There's a significantly less number here who's doing this professionally than the year 2024. As well, the biggest surprise is the people who have less than 1 year experience, and here we can see it's 5.5, which means there is a higher number of people have entering the field and they are actually able to find professional work, which is really good. So we can see this big jump here from 2.7 until 5.5 is a really significant jump, basically double the number from last year. So desktop has been replaced by enterprise developers. So the developer role is something that I'm really interested in. So we can see here that most of the developers still stack themselves as full stack, and then back end, and then front end. Then I think this is going to be the desktop development, and then mobile. But last year we can see that it's still almost the same thing, but the number of percentage of people have dropped down. So if we take a look, for example, at desktop development, we can see here it's 5.8. Here it went to 4.2. For mobile, it's 3.4 in this year. Last year it was 3.3, so it's almost the same thing. But if we take a look at front end and back end, from 16 and 5, it went to back end to 17, but front end it went up to 16 to 6. So we can see here that these are actually on the rise. Back end is actually on the fall and the front end is on the rise. And we can see the market projection on this. and basically where are all of the interest is actually going. And something which is really, really interesting here, we can see that we have dev.ai. So we have 0.9 of the percentage of the developers are developers of AI. As well, we can see machine learning specialist is now 1.7%, where last year data scientist, it was a bit more, it was 2.07. I don't think that even existed last year, because I cannot really see it here. So as we can see here that there is an uptick in that, and less within the ML specialization. The one thing which I'm really interested in to see here is the cloud infrastructure. So here we can see that cloud infrastructure is 1.1, although if we take a look at it last year, it was 1.3. So also not a big dip, but still a dip there. All of these different information doesn't really matter, to be honest with you. A developer is a developer no matter what the age it is, either if they are less than 18 or bigger than 65. A lot of people basically live development, and that's why they do it. So the other item which I'm interested in is the technology aspect of this. So if we go to technology and we scroll a bit down, we can see last year the most popular language was JavaScript. This year, if we scroll down, it's still JavaScript with 62%, and last year it was 63%. I was really interested into seeing where .NET fits into this, or C#. So we can see C is basically on the 27% this year. Last year is still almost the same number, hovering around that line. So C# is still on the number 8 in this list. It hasn't really moved since last year, which is not a bad thing, but it's also not a good thing, specifically with all of the changes that Microsoft is adding to C# and the .NET framework. You would expect to be more people on board, but maybe it's a long step journey. So let's see what other than programming language exists here. So if we take a look at database, always Postgres is going to be the most populated. This is really interesting, the cloud space. So if we scroll a bit down to the cloud space, we can see that AWS is still winning by a lot of margin with a 48%. Last year it was also 48%, so not haven't really moved. Microsoft 26, this year 27, so they gain a bit of market. Google Cloud and Cloudflare and all of them else is basically far away behind them, but we can see Google Cloud is actually catching up to Azure. And similar here last year, Google Cloud 23, now it has been increased more than even than Microsoft. So we can see here that it's really interesting. Something which I would say is Cloudflare have taken Firebase in popularity, which is really interesting to see. So we can see here it was very close even than last year. So other than that, if we take a look at the web framework, which we mainly focus on right now, we can see that Node.js is still taking the priority and the top position on 40%, while .NET is on 16.9. Last year, if we take a look to that one, Node.js was also number 1, and ASP.NET Core was on 16.5. So last year, .NET was on 7th place. This year, still in 7th place with the same number of percentage, basically. I'm still really surprised that there's a lot of, like almost 30% still use ASP.NET, which is the old one based on the .NET framework. Other than that, we can see that all of these different items have a very small market space. As for other libraries, we can see that .NET is really the more popular one on the 25.2%. While it comes to last year, I think .NET also was on top. Still one of the most popular framework that exists out there. All of these different items we don't really care about. A lot of this different information that currently exists. Now, this is the real interest part. AI search and developer tools. So we can see here that ChatGPT is really the most popular one in compared to the Copilot as well as Gemini. If we take a look last year, if we scroll a bit down, we can see that ChatGPT was also the first, but we can see here that Copilot as Gemini were not even in the top 3. Now they are taking the top 3. Bing AI fell way down, and I think Google Bard has been converted into Gemini, so that's why it moved up from number 4 to number 3, and Bing AI, which was second, now dropped all the way to number 4. And Copilot, GitHub Copilot, just came out of nowhere, because even here we cannot even see Copilot available. So we can see that Copilot is making large stride in this, but GPT is still the king of these tools available for developers. I see. So this year they have combined it all together rather than just separating them. Here we can see that Copilot, they classified it as a tool rather than an AI solution. Well, it is an AI solution, but still one of the most popular ones. Now, with all of this, I'm not going to be delving into every single section. These were the main items that I wanted to cover here, but something that I would really like to go through is the professional developers. And if we go to the professional developers here, we can see that there's a lot of different information about the developers, how they're actually, how many years do they have, the industry they work in, and all of this is very interesting information. But one of the main things which I really find interesting, which did not exist in the 2023 one, but it currently exists in the 2024 one, if we go to the professional developer, is the job industry and satisfaction. So job industry, we're going to keep it as is because as we know, software developer, fintechs, whatever it is, but the job satisfaction is going to be the real item here. So if we take a look here, we can see that only 20% of everyone who have submitted this survey are happy at work. We can see here that the people who are not happy are basically 32%, and the people who are complacent at work is roughly 47%. And this is a big problem because basically, if you don't have happy developers or people who are actually complacent at work, it's going to be reflected badly on the source code that they're going to be generating, on the system that they're going to be producing, the application that we're going to be utilizing, because basically, if they're not really producing their best code out there, it's going to be really hard to maintain all of this code that's going to be generated. As well, could be a different or fundamental reason why this level of unsatisfaction, as well as the level of complacent at work, has increased significantly. This could be due to different factors, social, economic factors. We're not going to be delving into that, but something that I would say that is really affecting this could be the AI tooling, as well as the unpredictability of the job market. So a lot of people right now undermined thinking about that AI is gonna basically take over their jobs and they're not gonna be able to continue doing the thing that they're working at. So what they do is basically they start getting complacent, or basically they stop evolving their skills because basically they think there's not going to be any use of that. And this is one sentiment which I really disagree with. Although AI is getting better by the day, actually by the second, and it can do a lot of things that we wouldn't even think it was possible a few years ago, but it's still far away from perfect. AI is not going to be, or it's not going to come and take away our jobs as people think. A Sentinel AI or general purpose AI is still so far away that I don't think it's even possible within the next 10 years to be able to have that types of AI available. And that's why I think if AI is one of the main reasons that developers are unhappy, I think it's a bit of an uncertainty. The other one is it could be the type of work they're doing, or the language that they are using, or the teams that they are part of. And this could have different factors, that have different contributors. And we're not going to be delving into all of that. But based on my research around these topics, I can see that when there is a lot of micromanagement on the developers themselves, and they take away some of the flexibility or the ability to come up with some creative solutions, this also can make the developers unhappy. Another key factor with that is job progression, it could be, and how that might affect their long-term stance at the company that they are working in. So there's a lot of different reasons. I wished that Stack Overflow could have added a section for people to elaborate. That would have been really interesting to read. But unfortunately, I cannot see anything here about the satisfaction. If we click on download, let's see what do we got. We got the chart only. So here we can see people's manager, we can see the visual contributor. But this thing here is really interesting because if this trend continues to happen like this and the developers are unhappy, this will have a lot of effects on all of the services that we're currently using day to day, from applications to every single tool that we rely on in our day-to-day life. I think this is going to be the main key factor that I'm going to keep an eye for next year and see basically how this is going to be materializing specifically after all of the tech layoff that happened last year and early this year, and whatever was going to happen within the next 6 months within the rest of the year for 2024. Again, this is going to be really interesting, and let's hope it's going to get better and better and this number jumps up. So 20% is a really low level compared to where it needs to be. This video was just a quick analysis of the Stack Overflow survey, and I thought I'll just give my feedback on it and my thoughts on this topic because there's a lot of different interesting details that currently exist in this survey. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please like, share and subscribe. It would really help the channel. If you'd like to support me, please consider supporting me on Patreon or buying me a coffee. With that said, thank you very much for watching and have a great day.